Perhaps you've heard through the grapevine about new apps designed to allow tenants to perform their own self-inspections using mobile technology. If you've been sitting on the fence about whether or how to implement this new technology, this video is for you. Are these new tenant self-inspection apps the best thing since sliced bread, or will they turn out to be fool's gold when all is said and done? Ultimately, the truth probably lies somewhere in between. The idea behind a tenant self-inspection is that you can have the best of both worlds. You can free up your time from doing field reports and pass the buck to the tenant while still delivering a beautiful report to your owner showing the condition of the property. Free time but getting your reports done on the cheap? Sounds like maybe you can have your cake and eat it too. But before you jump on the bandwagon, let's play devil's advocate for a moment, because unfortunately, like so many things, the devil is in the details. A tenant self-inspection might generate a report that looks apples to apples like what a property manager would create if they did a report themselves. But in the end, it might actually be leading property managers down a primrose path. Because while you can get a beautiful report that looks thorough and complete, this is the definition of the fox guarding the henhouse, and that usually doesn't end well. While the reports might show some helpful information and generate maintenance requests that the tenant would like the landlord to address, it's a pipe dream to believe that tenant compliance issues will be reported at all. You don't have a snowball's chance of discovering an illicit pet, lease compliance issue, or insurance risk. Because tenants are not approaching the property with the eye of a landlord, property manager, or risk manager, they could miss preventative maintenance items that could end up costing your client an arm or a leg. You can imagine how relationships you've spent years developing can go up in smoke when you try to explain to your owner that you weren't aware of an issue because the tenant failed to report it in their own self-inspection. But all is not lost. Using a tenant self-inspection app doesn't mean that you have to just throw caution to the wind. While tenant self-inspections aren't apples-to-apples replacements for periodic reports, oranges aren't such a bad thing. Before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's consider that there might be a place for these types of reports. While they don't replace reports performed by a professional, they can help you create additional property awareness when used supplementally in addition to your regular routine of condition reports. Let's put the idioms aside for a moment and speak plainly. Periodic reports are designed to do three things. 1. Make sure the tenant is doing what they are supposed to be doing. 2. Make sure the tenant isn't doing what they aren't supposed to be doing. And 3. Discover any unnoticed or unreported maintenance or risk-related items. Tenant self-inspections can effectively do one of those three. While it's unlikely that a tenant is going to tell on themselves or suddenly become a maintenance or risk mitigation expert, they can demonstrate that they are doing what's required of them in the lease. Using a tenant self-inspection app to show that the tenant is changing the air filter, maintaining their smoke alarm, mowing their lawn, etc. is just plain smart. If you've started using tenant self-inspections in lieu of performing your own property reports, you might be barking up the wrong tree. But if you're using tenant self-inspection apps in addition to getting professional eyes on the property, you, my friend, have hit the nail on the head. In summary, don't be an idiom. Use self-inspection apps wisely, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.